Hey, do you remember the 64 pack of Crayola crayons like I do? This was almost like a status symbol when you were a kid. If you could get your mom to buy you the 64 pack of Crayola crayons, and some moms may have thought that was silly, but we knew in school how important this was to have, then you were like somebody in the class, right? Because you had all the colors. Look at how they put the colors on the top of the box. Better than going into class with just some little tiny pack with like 12 crayons. No, you had the 64 pack. Now, they have packs that are a lot bigger and better than the 64 pack now, but when I was a kid, that was the standard. Now, why do I bring that up? Well, because I was reading this great book by Max Lucado called Cure for the Common Life. It's an older book, but it's a great book. He's a great author, an amazing preacher, can really write. Wow, he can really make me think. And in this book, he was talking about how when he was a kid, he would run to this Sunday school class that he dearly loved because the teacher was so amazing. And she gave hugs, and he said she smelled like his mother's makeup, and she had this wonderful smile. And he said that she would always do an activity with the kids where she would tear a page out of a coloring book, and she would ask the kids to color a picture of Jesus. Now, chances are it looked something like this probably, right? You remember these types of coloring pages that you would do as a kid? I do. And they were kind of fun to do. He said, but when she invited them to color this page of Jesus, she didn't hand them the 64 pack. She just handed them a can of crayons. And they got whatever colors were preloaded in the can by her. And they were instructed not to reach over and grab any crayons from another kid's can, but to just use the crayons that were provided in the can that she gave them. And he says, so if you got to the sky and you didn't have blue, well then just color the sky purple. If you got to Jesus's hair and you didn't have brown, well, just color it blonde. It didn't matter. And when the class was over, he said that the teacher would just praise the kids and tell them how wonderful their pictures were. He said we always felt like we were Van Gogh or Rembrandt or something. Now, what's the point of that illustration? Simply this: God has given you a can of crayons, not a literal can, but he has given you spiritual gifts and natural talents and abilities. Count those as your crayons. And your job, and my job, is to color Jesus for people using the can of crayons, the natural talents, gifts, and spiritual gifts and abilities that God has given us. Some people may have a can that's really loaded. Some people may have different colors in their can than we have. Some people may even have so many that you look over at your can and go, boy, I don't have too many in my can. This is how I feel often, that I didn't get quite just as much as everybody else. But we all did get a can. And you get to use the colors God gave you in whatever way possible to color Jesus for other people. So are you particularly good at hospitality? Then invite people over to your home and tell them about Jesus. Or maybe somebody's going through a difficult time and they need a place to stay for a while and you've got an extra room. Open that place up and let people see Jesus in that. Are you a great carpenter, woodworker? Go on a mission trip and go build something for Jesus, or help the person next door whose deck got torn down by a tree that fell during a storm. That's a good way to tell people about Jesus, just by using that natural talent and that gift, that ability that you have. Are you a great writer? Write notes to people. Send them notes of encouragement and tell them about Jesus. Tell them how much they're loved and remind them that you're praying for them. There's so many ways that we can use our can of Crayolas, whatever can you got, with whatever colors you have, to tell people about Jesus. That's our job, not to color ourselves, not to make ourselves look good, but to make Jesus look good. I know that you have a can, and I know you have some colors, and so do I. So I'll go out this week and I'll color Jesus for people using the can that God gave me, and you do the same. Let's go color Christ for others. And of course, keep walking with Jesus at the same time. See you next week.